it will be very difficult to find a Chinese character and to say that it is the exact equivalent of what we call trauma nowadays in the West, and especially in the West, or even in medicine or in daily life. But in fact, they perfectly knew what it was because they had trauma, they experiment trauma from the beginning of humankind. I think that even the prehistoric people, they had trauma. I don't know if it was by a bad encountering with a mammoth or a saber tiger or whatever, sure, or but they had trauma, sure, and after that, more and more deep and subtle trauma inscribed in the equivalent subtlety of the human mind, of all what is formless inside of us. So, what is very interesting to say, there are several things. First is that in a text coming from an unexpected book, the Chuanzi. So, Chuanzi, who is one of the founders of the Taoist approach, and so we find a text in the chapter 19 where we can recognize exactly a trauma, which is, of course, it's a duke, and this duke has a trauma because he saw a ghost, a kind of a phantom ghost, when he was hunting in the wild, in the wilderness. So, and he was absolutely shocked. So he was in shock. He came back to his palace. He went in his room. He went to bed and stopped to do anything. Stopped to take care of the government, of the governing of the states, of perhaps eating or doing anything. He was not leaving his bed. So, and of course, that is absolutely unacceptable if you are a human being and if you are a sovereign, because you put in danger the whole kingdom in a kind of paralysis. And we will have, in fact, in a very short text, a presentation of a cure, of an healing of this duke. And this way of healing, which needs someone coming and with the right word, and a kind of truth teller, not a servant just telling the prince, oh my goodness, you do whatever you want, or a kind of moralizator, a kind of censor telling you are the prince, it is your duty to do that, but just somebody telling him, you are the duke, you are the duke, and so it may be translated also for us, you are a human being. So you are responsible for what happened to you. Yeah, sure. You are in charge. Nothing else, nothing exterior to you can cause you a real lasting harm. You are able to come back, So first thing to say that, awakening the interest of this duke, and after that, it goes away in the conversation, a very short one. There is one question, one answer, another question, and other answer, and which is for me a kind of a prototype of how to get out of a trauma. So with 3 steps. So I don't want to do that, to make that as a recipe. It is not. It is a very good example of what it takes to deal with a trauma as a human being. And of course, behind that, we have all what we find in the theories of the Chinese medicine, in the medical and clinical approach of that time and of the centuries a little bit after. This text was probably written around the third century BC. So, and the theory of medicine start to develop around that time and being flourishing around the first century and second and so on. So, but sure, when we will have, for instance, all the application of the concept of qi to what makes life, the order of life and the disorder of life. So, and any kind of emotion or what is related to emotion, any kind of things happening is has an impact on the movement of qi. So, for instance, the anger makes the qi rising up, but even if we don't have such a simplistic approach, everything, every event has an impact on the balance of all the movement, interaction, and transformation of the yin-yang qi in us. The blink of the eyes, a word said by someone, something that I believe that I have seen, have an effect on me. And this effect is, of course, depending of my previous balance. Sure, of course, of the condition of what I am, how I receive something. The same kind of things, I can look at it and it may have a tremendous effect on my qi, or I may look at it and I will keep my balance or recover it very quickly. So now, what if we come back to medicine? We will analyze by some ways, by the doctrine of the yin-yang and the 5 phases or elements, for instance, involving the 5 sound organ, or by other ways. We have means, tools to analyze the effect, the harmful effect due to this, what has happened in the exterior, what have entering me through my body, through my sense organ, through what happened, for instance, to my bones and muscles. In the case, there is some example in the medical text of falling down. When I fall down, I have a good example of that because I have something in my body injuring my qi physically, I will say, through my bones and muscles and blood circulation and so on. And in the same time, I have something putting also a disorder in my qi by what happened in my emotion, in my heart, through even my imagination, my memory, my fear, and so on, when I am falling down. So the Chinese medicine will analyze all this kind of qi and the effect that they have on me, where and how we can act to reorganize a better balance, to put them in the better order, and approaching together what is in a form. For instance, I have a shock on my muscle and blood that impacts the liver, for instance, and also acting on the formless. I am feeling myself falling down, and I may have apprehension, and if it's not the first time, I have the memory of what happened and whatever. So, which is, of course, a trauma, and because I am not able to recover my balance inside of myself, there is some kind of distortion which remains in what is behind the form, eventually with a possible inscription in the form. We will call that, for instance, in the Western language, somatization or psychosomatic, it's a lot better in the Chinese approach because it is the same movement all the time, or all kind of movement together. So we will see through some text, for instance, for the Sowen and the Lin Shoes, mainly, some kind of approach, how to analyze all this effect and to know how to deal with them, something which is both of the formless, the mind, the emotions, the spirit, and the form together. And of course, because the trauma is everywhere, yeah. And to resolve the trauma, I have to come back to myself, to restore this kind of position of myself, and of course, stage by stage, as we had on the text already, and practically doing. And if when we are doing that not only for ourselves but to help another one, so in a therapeutical process, we have to know exactly how to analyze it and how to to act, to put in practice some treatment.